Hello to all my dear esteemed viewers. Welcome once again to this channel where we speak the truth boldly and without fear. Today we have to talk about something that has sparked deep anger, confusion, and sadness across Nigeria. Sheikh Ahmad Gumi's warning to the Nigerian Army and police not to provoke Boko Haram again. Yes, you heard me right. At a time when Nigerians are crying daily from insecurity, when mothers are burying their children, when farmers can't go to their farms, and when young people are losing hope in their own country, we are hearing voices telling our armed forces, the very people who swore an oath to protect the nation, to leave terrorists alone. And that, my friends, is something that demands a serious conversation. Let's first put this in context. Sheikh Gumi is not new to controversy. For years, he has presented himself as a mediator between the government and terror groups like Boko Haram and bandits. He has often argued that the way to end insecurity is through negotiation and dialogue rather than military action, but this time his words carry a dangerous undertone. To warn the Nigerian army and police never to provoke Boko Haram again is almost like saying, let them do as they wish, let them continue to destroy, abduct, and kill, but don't stand in their way. And if we sit back and accept such a message, then what does it mean for Nigeria? What does it mean for the ordinary citizen who depends on security forces to keep them safe? We need to think deeply about the implications. Boko Haram has killed tens of thousands of Nigerians. They have displaced millions, turning once thriving communities into IDP camps filled with hungry, traumatized people. They have abducted school children, Chibok girls, Dapchi girls, and countless unnamed boys and girls whose parents may never see them again. They have bombed churches, mosques, markets, and military formations. And now someone is warning the very security forces tasked with confronting them not to provoke them. That is like telling the fire service not to pour water on a burning house because it might annoy the fire. It is illogical, dangerous, and disrespectful to the memory of every Nigerian who has died at the hands of terrorists. But let's also be honest about why such statements even gain traction. The truth is that Nigerians are tired of endless insecurity. People feel like despite all the billions spent on defense, the situation is not improving. Corruption in the security sector, poor intelligence sharing, lack of welfare for soldiers, and political interference have weakened the fight against terrorism. Some people believe negotiating with terrorists is a shortcut to peace. But is it really? Ask yourself, how can you negotiate with people whose ideology is to destroy your very existence as a secular democratic country? How can you beg for peace with groups whose mission is to enslave your daughters and silence your voice? Sheikh Gumi's warning touches on a bigger problem in Nigeria: the culture of pampering and protecting the powerful while ordinary citizens suffer. When peaceful protesters come out to demand good governance, what happens? The police descend on them with force, tear gas, and arrests. But when terrorists kill, kidnap, and bomb, we are told to dialogue, to understand their grievances, to respect their feelings. What message does that send to our youth? That crime pays? That if you take up arms against the state, you will be listened to, but if you carry a placard demanding jobs and justice, you will be silenced? This double standard is part of why insecurity keeps festering. We also need to face the painful truth. Nigeria is at a crossroads. Every statement from influential figures has the power to shape the direction of the country. That is why leaders must be careful with their words. Telling the Nigerian army not to confront terrorists is not just irresponsible, it undermines the morale of the troops risking their lives daily. These are men and women, many of them very young, who have left their families behind to defend us in Sambisa Forest, in Lake Chad Basin, in Katsina, Zamfara, Borno, and Niger states. They live in harsh conditions, underfunded, sometimes undersupplied, yet they fight. Imagine how they feel when they hear someone telling them to fold their arms in the face of terror. It is demoralizing. So, what should be done instead? First, the Nigerian government must prioritize genuine reforms in the security sector. Enough of lip service. Soldiers need proper weapons, timely salaries, and good welfare. Police officers must be retrained and equipped with modern intelligence tools. We cannot keep fighting 21st century terrorists with outdated strategies and weapons. There must be accountability. If funds meant for defense are looted, let there be consequences. If commanders fail in their duties, let there be consequences. Without accountability, we are simply pouring water into a leaking basket. Every well meaning Nigerian must rise above division. Terrorism thrives when we are divided along ethnic and religious lines. Boko Haram does not care if you are Christian, Muslim, Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, or Tiv. They kill anyone who refuses to bow to their extremist ideology. So why should we allow ourselves to be divided by politicians and so-called mediators who want to exploit insecurity for personal influence? Our unity is our greatest weapon. We must invest in our youth. Many young people are being lured into criminality because of poverty, hopelessness, and lack of opportunities. If we want to defeat terrorism in the long term, we must create jobs, improve education, and give young Nigerians a reason to believe in their country again. That is how you dry up the recruitment pool for terror groups. Finally, we must speak out. Civic consciousness is not a luxury anymore, it is survival. If we keep silent when dangerous statements are made, then we give room for those statements to become normalized. Nigerians must challenge such narratives. We must say clearly, we reject any attempt to protect terrorists. We demand security, justice, and dignity for all citizens. And this is where you, my viewers, come in. By engaging with this content, by sharing it widely, by discussing it with friends and family, you are helping to awaken a new consciousness that Nigeria desperately needs. So let me end with this. Sheikh Gumi's warning to the Nigerian Army and police should be a wake-up call to every Nigerian. It should remind us that there are people who will try to twist the narrative, to confuse right and wrong, to weaken our resolve. But we cannot afford to give up. Nigeria is our home. This land belongs to us, not to terrorists, not to corrupt politicians, not to opportunistic mediators. It belongs to you and me, the ordinary people who work hard every day and dream of a better future. And together, if we stay conscious, courageous, and united, we can reclaim it. So I want you to take a moment now. If you believe Nigeria deserves better, hit that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I want to hear from you. Do you agree that dangerous statements like this must be challenged? Do you think the government is doing enough to fight terrorism? Share your perspective, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss more bold and truth-centered content like this. Share this video widely so more Nigerians can wake up to the reality of what is at stake. Together, we can spark the change that Nigeria desperately needs.